So Congressman Tim Burchett here in Tennessee is facing some criticism because he shared some fake news. He put out a tweet with a picture of a guy by the name of Denton Loudermill, and he said this: one of the Kansas City Chiefs Victory Parade shooters has been identified as an illegal alien. Now, this turned out not to be true at all. This picture was of Denton Loudermill, and he was being detained by the police, but he had absolutely nothing to do and was not connected to the shooting in any way. But that didn't stop this post from staying up for 4 days, and even with a context warning on top of it, it was still shared over 2,000 times. Now, Knox News reached out to Tim Burchett about this, and he just said, "Thanks for bringing that to my attention." And then he takes a screenshot of the original post and puts this text with it. He says, "It has come to my attention that in one of my previous posts, one of the shooters was identified as an illegal alien. This was based on multiple incorrect news reports stating that I have removed the post. No apologies to Denton Loudermill whatsoever. No, hey, I'm sorry for spreading misinformation. Sorry for making your life a living hell. None of that." He just said that, and he just moved on with it. But Denton Loudermill's attorney did say this: "Mr. Denton has received death threats over a lie, over misinformation. He didn't do anything wrong. He did not commit a crime. So please run tell that. Get the truth out there. Help us clear his name and help us to save his life." But notice Tim Burchett didn't even say his name. Had nothing to do with it. He just moved on. Because in MAGA Republicans' land, those fact checks means nothing. When they see that fact check on top of an article, they don't say, "Oh, wait a minute, we're being played." They go ahead and share it anyway, because in their world, that fact check is just liberal propaganda. In their world, facts and evidence is just liberal propaganda. So Tim Burchett knows he can put that out there and it will stick and it will fit their narrative. And that's the whole reason why he jumped so fast to share that story, because if he could paint it that it was an illegal alien, that fits perfectly into MAGA's narrative. They love to sit and say, "Oh, they're not sending their best and their brightest. They're coming out of mental institutions. They're coming out of prisons." They have no data or evidence to back that up whatsoever, but they say it because they know that it will stick with their audience. Now, I have a feeling that if that had been a disgruntled white dude being detained, and let's say that dude had just got done listening to Tucker Carlson and was believing all that bullshit and all that propaganda, I have a feeling that Tim Burchett wouldn't have shared that picture at all. You wouldn't have heard a peep out of him. And any time that it's a shooter that fits that description, Tim Burchett's the type to go, "Well, now hold on a minute. Don't start judging all of us based on the actions of just a few." And he's the same guy who said when it comes to gun violence in schools, he said, "Well, we can't fix it. Ain't nothing we can do about it. I mean, if somebody's going to hurt you, they're going to hurt you. That's what my daddy told me. My daddy said if somebody wants to hurt you, they will. Can't do nothing about it." That's how he sounds. Actually, it's kind of exaggerated, but, satire is the use of humor, irony, and exaggeration to expose the stupidity of someone's beliefs, and that's what I'm here trying to do today, is expose Tim Burchett's stupidity. For those of you that don't really know who Tim Burchett is, you're not too familiar with him, the best way I can describe him would be that if Donald Trump had a really shitty sitcom, then Tim Burchett would be the stupid cousin from Tennessee that comes over every now and then to say, "Hey, Donnie, how's it going, buddy?" That's Tim Burchett. That's who he is. And no apology to this guy whatsoever. You would think that the people that loves to shout fake news the loudest would do a better job and not spread it. You would think that they would hold themselves to a higher standard, but standards are a lost art in the Republican Party, if it ever was one to start with. They have none. There's no law they won't go to. They don't have morals. They don't have values. If they do, they're bad ones. They used to be the party of accountability. They used to be the party of pull yourself up by the boots, and now they do none of that. They don't take accountability for nothing. They just move on in hopes that we'll all forget it. Well, I'm here to tell you, we ain't going to forget it. We're here to clear Denton Loudermill's name. And do you want me to give you a little peek behind the curtain into Brando's world? I actually made a really good video on this, had it ready to go, had it uploaded to YouTube, and I almost hit public, and I listened to it one more time, and I realized that I was saying Denton Loudermilk instead of Denton Loudermill. I mispronounced his name, and I felt so bad about it. I thought, I'm sitting here calling this guy out for his bullshit. I need to get it right. But hey, I had a gaffe. I had a moment where I read it right out of the Knox News. I read it, and I looked at it. It said Loudermill, and I still pronounced it Loudermilk. But I couldn't bring myself to put out a video misspeaking that, because that's the kind of standard I try to hold myself to. And those kind of standards, they're long gone out of the Republican Party.